Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and let's talk about this Flash movie. And in general, let's just talk about the DC universe in general, because the one thing that has been a constant is Warner Brothers, DC Comic Books, dumb folks there that's working there decided that anytime an ideal is executed and anytime they either don't get return on something, or they feel like the audience is dwindling, or they get a little bit of backlash or pushback from the audience, their first instinct is to reboot everything or start over and try to figure out what to do next. And I'm telling you right now, that is not a good motto to have. Come on, do something. What you doing? God damn it. Fuck all that bullshit. Sitting up there damn driving and shit. Oh shit. Oh my lord, I forgot I was recording for a second. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's live. People, y'all know. Y'all already know. I'm not about to be fake any goddamn way. But anyway, what people need to understand that this is always something that Warner Brothers be constantly doing, is that when they don't get a lot of return on investments, or they get a pushback or panic or whatever, they think that they can constantly restart shit over again, as if that is something to do. Because ever since Crisis on Infinite Earth, because that was so successful, DC's been sort of using that on and off for a couple of years. Now, this is where you know it failed. And here's some examples of where rebooting the continuity did not and does not work to this day. When DC did use the Flashpoint storyline as to reboot the continuity of the DC universe, most comic book fans who were loyal to DC at the time, a lot of them walked the fuck away from the comics. They did. Now, the sales was good at first because some people were interested in it, because they were getting new people in, but at the cost of their long-term audience. And after those 3 months happened, the sales flatlined again. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because James Gunn announced that they're doing a reboot of the DC universe like a dumbass, and think that the movie-going audience is going to play that game. No, they're not. When you give the audience a way out, when you tell them that, hey, we're starting over or whatever, a lot of people do not give companies or whatever chances after that. A lot of these reboots nowadays are not successful. And that's just in entertainment stuff in general. You always, when you reboot the continuity and tell people that everything that they done put time and effort into is a waste of time, they're not inclined to come back. That's just the truth. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They're inclined to not come back. And that's what's happening right now, is that when you announce the reboot, you gave people a jumping off point. And then you want to know how, another thing too, is DC was doing these DC animated original movies where they were based off of different comic book story arcs in the comic books. So they weren't all in the same continuity, but it was just like standalone movies in the little thing. So they decided, hey, we're going to do the Flashpoint Paradox movie, and we're going to start a new reboot, which is the DC animated movie universe, which they call DCEU, right? Okay, great. Some of the movies were okay, most of them weren't, and then of course they ended it with a reboot. And now we got the TomorrowVerse. Again, that was another jumping on and jumping off point. When the Flashpoint Paradox movie started and it created a new timeline of stuff, some people jumped off, because a lot of people, especially for me, I don't like the New 52. I don't like the New 52. I think the New 52 was pointless. I think it was a waste of time. Fuck new readers. Fuck new audience members sometimes. That's how I feel. Because if they didn't like it before, what makes you think rebooting your continuity and ignoring the fans that you already got is going to bring them in? Let them have that choice of if they want to come in or not. But don't sit up there and change things around for that new audience. And that's is a jumping off point. Anyway, then they did to TomorrowVerse. The TomorrowVerse, it's okay. I like the animation style. I like the designs of the characters. I think it looks good, but I understand there were people who was invested in the DCEU who, after they destroyed that universe, they jumped off from the TomorrowVerse. And, it is what it is. And some fans are just like, we're not doing the TomorrowVerse because of the fact that we already rebooted. This is our third reboot. You get what I'm saying? So, I get it. I get it. I really do. This is me, a person who's been watching the stuff, going through a third reboot right about now. You know what I'm saying? And then, not even after, now the DC New 52 was a failure. Right? They didn't want to admit it. They still wanted to keep shitting out bullshit until it was to the point where, oh shit, we got to come up with something. Then they did the DC Rebirth. Rebirth was doing so good. And then losers came in there and self-sabotaged all the goodwill when they were doing great, because there were certain people who didn't like what was going on. And remember, these are executives that are running the shit, right? So it goes back to the same thing with WB. They panicked. They listened to a few people who was like, well, I don't think the audience, even though the money was there, just like the money was there for the DC Rebirth, but because certain people got into some of these executives' heads, they was like, oh, okay, great, we're not gonna do this. So let's go back to the nonsense, or let's reboot again. Let's do a soft relaunch. And they did that same bullshit again, which again was another jumping off point for people. Now they're doing the Dawn of DC, which is another soft reboot. You see this pattern that is happening where they literally keep rebooting their continuity and changing things around so frequently to the point where they don't have a stable audience that they can depend on. Hell, their stability is losing fast to the point where Batman's not even selling at the top of his level anymore because of the fact that you have to keep constantly rebooting or soft relaunching the DC universe. The continuity. People don't understand that. People like continuity. People like things in order. If you make it to the point where everything that I like is non and void, there's no point to it, then why would I continue to give you money? You get what I'm saying? Just like Endgame. Endgame had a perfect way to wrap up the MCU to the point where I don't have to watch the MCU. And honestly, I'm glad I don't watch the MCU, because a lot of the shows and movies nowadays are literally hot shit. Because they don't know what to do, or then they're doing the thing that ruined the comic books in the beginning. So it's just one of those things where we really need to talk about, is a reboot a good idea for your movie universe? No. All you had to do was just continue with the characters you already got and tell good fucking stories. You got Henry Cavill, you got Ben Affleck, you got Gal Gadot. Make good movies with them. Do a rebirth for them, but don't reboot your continuity. Because if you take away people's investments of the first 10 years of your universe, why would I give you another 10 years to see if what James Gunn shit is going to work out? It might work out, not saying that it won't or will, but the fact of the matter is, that's another 10 years that I might be able to give you, or 10 years that I'll ignore because you ignored what I wanted. You ignored what a lot of people wanted. And, for anybody who keep talking about, oh, the DCEU was a mess from the beginning, maybe, but as an executive, if I'm looking at money wise, it wasn't a mess. You get what I'm saying? Really, the only mess that we really had was Justice League. And I'm talking about before the Snyder plans got cut, before he got fired, and then Walter Hamada came in. The only movie that really was a problem was Justice League, and that motherfucker still almost made $700 million worldwide. And people still consider most of the movies that first started off in the DCEU flops, which makes absolutely no damn logical sense. Oh, those movies are still flops, though. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that movie, Man of Steel, flop. Batman vs. Superman, flop. Wonder Woman, successful for some reason. Suicide Squad, flopped. Justice League, flop. Aquaman, a success. What? What? Shazam, a success. And that barely made $300 million. Then movies after Shazam, all of those movies underperformed, didn't even get to $200 million. Until we got to Black Adam, which made almost $400 million without getting that international release for China to boost its sales. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird where we've had a whole bunch of movies that underperform, but people keep talking about those movies were success. And it's not just the quote unquote fans that are saying that they are successful. Hollywood is saying they're successful. WB themselves are saying those movies are successful, which makes absolutely no logical sense. When your movies start off making between 600 and almost $1 billion between, the movies that first started the universe, and then now where you're barely making $300 million, I don't understand how we differentiate the success. Well, the general audience like those movies. Are you sure? Because if the general audience like those quote-unquote movies you guys claim, these movies wouldn't be underperforming. I mean, right now, The Flash is literally underperforming so bad that they're trying to be like, oh, in South Africa, it's #1 in South Africa. And it's still a fucking flop around the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, like, you're trying to hype up marketing on a movie that's not making money. Like, okay, I mean, right now it's getting beat out by Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers, and Elemental at the same time. And Elemental was another Colossus failure. But people are not watching the Flash movie. And then it makes you wonder, how is Blue Beetle and Aquaman going to do? And again, this is a reflection of David Zaslav, Peter Safran, and James Gunn, and they're going to have to sit in that bullshit. People are always trying to excuse Gunn for anything. No, he's at fault on this one. Him, Peter Safran, and David Zaslav, they have to take it as a leader. As leaders, you have to take, it doesn't matter if you didn't do something or not, or barely put your hand in something. When your company is failing, when your studio is releasing flops after flops, James Gunn is sadly, he's the face of that. He's the face of that. Not David Zaslav. Yeah, David Zaslav is the boss of it, but he's not the face of the DC studio. That honor goes to James Gunn. And then he want to get on social media and tweet about bullshit. Motherfucker, shut the fuck up being on the internet and actually focus on telling a damn good movie, because Superman Legacy has to make money. And I heard that it's been a few people on social media and some articles talking about, well, Superman Legacy doesn't have to make $1 billion to be a success, as long as it makes I believe around 400 million from what some of the articles are, it'll be considered a success. And then it was another article talking about, well, the James Gunn's new DCEU is going to have to suffer a lot of flops and fails before it gets successful. No. Absolutely not. We are not playing this game. I know. We are not excusing Gunn's movies if they underperform. I'm sorry, if his movies underperform, which 2 of his projects from the DC universe did underperform, If Superman Legacy underperforms, then that is a failure. That is his first movie, and that is a weak start to the DC universe. And let me tell you something. When the New 52 started, and they sold Action Comics, and they sold the new Superman run, people was hot to death with the reboot of Superman. And Superman ain't never recovered since, to the point where they had to bring back the previous Superman that everybody liked and erase the new rebooted Superman, because the fans and the audience just couldn't get over the new Superman. They couldn't. Like, the new Superman was just not working for them, so they were like, hey, old Superman, can you come back? And they did. They got rid of the new Superman. They put old Superman in there. And bam, bada boom, bada bam, we got Superman Rebirth. And then we got some of the best run of Superman. And you had something right there with Henry Cavill that could have been like a Rebirth kind of situation. Which I think if Superman Legacy does terrible, then, I think the studio going to be like, hey, Henry, can you come back? Because we're not going to excuse if the fault of the reason why the DCEU failure is Zack Snyder, then we have to put fault on James Gunn for the flops, the recent flops of Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman 2. You have to put that on James Gunn. You have to. And then if his movie, like I said, Superman Legacy doesn't do well, if it doesn't make $1 billion, then yes. Because remember, Man of Steel with Zack Snyder, the studio expected him to make $1 billion, but for some reason the studio wouldn't expect James Gunn's Superman Legacy movie to make $1 billion. Nah, get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here with that nonsense. You shouldn't have rebooted. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm just being honest. You rebooted something that you had no business rebooting. Sorry, people like continuity. Now, you can recast the actors if you needed to, as far as if they're too old to do the role. And don't give me that bullshit. Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck are not old. And I'm talking about, like, if they were pushing 60, then okay, then you got a point. They're pushing 60, so it's time for them to go and you find actors that look like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot. You know what I'm saying? But you don't just get rid of them for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, it doesn't work. This is a lesson. This is somebody who's been through several reboots with DC, and for some reason, like, it is hard to get back into DC when they keep doing these soft reboots, these soft relaunches, to the point where I have to hear from other people, people that I trust with the comic books or whatever, to the point where they be like, nah, it's okay, you can come back and read this or whatever, or no, they're doing such a good job, and as soon as I come back into it and DC be doing a good job, they all of a sudden reboot every damn thing for no reason. And I'm just like, who keeps self-sabotaging this damn studio? You know what I'm saying? When they bring back fan stuff that fans actually like and want to see, it starts off so good, and then, like, because there's some internal whatever bullshit going on, or because this person wasn't getting credit or whatever, or because the studio or the people didn't like the fact that the fans liked this and not what they wanted to give us, they were like, we're going to self-sabotage it. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you right now, it's not too late. It is not too late. Matter of fact, a lot of the DCEU stuff, the stuff from the old regime of DC, we know a lot of those scripts are done. So honestly, trying to get James Gunn to write a script, fuck that bullshit. Zack Snyder already had Man of Steel 2 ready. You know what I'm saying? Ben Affleck already has the Batman stuff ready. And I heard that Zack Snyder already had Cyborg, Green Lantern, and Justice League Part 1 and Part 2 already together. I mean, Part 2 and part 3 scripts already done and reviewed and everything. So if you ask me, I say use that, because right now with everybody going on the writer's strike, and what I believe WB owes $49 billion in of debt, or $490 million. I forget how much I know they in some debt of bullshit. You might as well give the fans what they want, especially when you keep talking about, oh, people need to move on, let go of the Snyder stuff, but yet you keep using it as marketing stuff. You keep releasing Snyder's stuff. If that's the case, stop making merchandise for his Batman. Stop making merchandise for that Wonder Woman and that Superman. Stop showing them on your social media stuff. If you want people to let go, don't even talk about, oh, here's the DCEU 10 disc collection of, some of the DC movies. It makes absolutely no logical sense. I'm telling you right now, do not go this route. The route that the Flash is teaching you is, when you give us crap, we not gonna show up for it. And when you tell people that everything that they watched up till now is no point, and there's no further point of going on to this continuity, of course people aren't gonna show up. Like, people are like, well, you guys didn't show up for Black Adam and stuff like that. Well, why would people show up for Black Adam when they're only getting 30 seconds of Superman? You get what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it wasn't like that movie is about to lead into Man of Steel 2. Now, if it was, it would have been something. But since it wasn't leading into anything, there's no point of watching a 30-second clip. If you really wanted people to watch it, you would have put 15 minutes of Henry Cavill Superman in Black Adam as a secret thing. That would have been something to show. That would have been something to get people excited about. You know what I mean? You got to get people excited about it. You can't put conditions on it. Just like I heard, oh, if the Flash movie do good, then Michael Keaton's Batman Beyond movie will move forward. Why? Stop putting conditions on your audience. Your audience already told you what the fuck they want to watch, what they want to do, what they want to support. You can't just tell them what you're not going to do unless it's conditionally done. You get what I'm saying? Because you already did that with the quote unquote real DC fans when you listen to them and said, oh, all the Snyder stuff is a failure. All the Snyder stuff doesn't make money. Okay, great. We got rid of him. Walter Romano comes in and does whatever the fuck he wants to. And those movies all underperformed. So I'm just it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense, especially when you have passionate fans that are making money, that are literally giving you money for free advertisement, talking about watch HBO Max, buy HBO Max, buy this, so we can show Warner Brothers this is what we want. And people have showed you what they want, and you still say hell no? No, that don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense. Y'all listening to Twitter and some of these damn YouTubers who don't know a goddamn thing at all. I'm trying to tell you, don't go this route, because you should. This Flash movie is literally telling you it ain't the best route to reboot. Because honestly, the stocks are dropping in Warner Brothers and in getting people to question David Zaslav's leadership. And I would be questioning too if I was a shareholder. But hey, what do I know, right? I don't know much of nothing, even though I've been, reading these comic books for a long time, seeing how it affects people. But, hey, what does a real comic book fan know about this stuff, right? Because the proof isn't in the pudding. Oh, wait, it is. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.